Hey everyone, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path. A little bit of a different video or trip today. We're sort of starting midway through. I'm out and about in the high country with a mate of mine, Kieren, from the North Coast, and we're just coming into Wonnangatta Valley here.
Yes it is.
Oh no, that's just one of the exits that's been blocked by that. There's still two other exits.
Well, that's lucky.
So yeah, hadn't intended to do a lot of filming today, but then decided to film part of Wonnangatta because we're going to do the high road through Wonnangatta today. So the easy way through Wonnangatta that I've never actually done before, and a few other places. So it's a bit of adventure and misadventure today with Kieren. So just coming in at the western end of Wonnangatta.
There it is.
On the northern side, which if you're coming from Albury sort of or anywhere on the northern side is probably the easiest way to come in. It's the way that my video, the easy way to Wonnangatta, was filmed.
Easy peasy, that one.
Yeah, with your tyres you were never going to have an issue.
Driving
So
Kieren's driving a Gen 2 Pajero.
The what, sorry?
Aircon belt, as soon as I got out the other side, started squealing. It didn't like the water, but everything else went fine.
Oh, yep. Yeah, good.
So yes, one of the square body Gen 2 Pajeros is what Kieren's driving, and he's got no snorkel, and he's running
So we come to a T-junction up here and we turn left.
Copy.
And yeah, long-time followers of the channel would have seen this junction many times. If you turn right here, that heads you to Water Spur. Turning left heads you into Wonnangatta.
Turning right takes you up to the Water Spur Track that you may or may not have heard of.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, that'll take you up to Howard Plains and you're sort of halfway over to Mount Buller then.
Oh yeah, nice.
So as you can see, by the time we got to Wonnangatta here, it was raining pretty steadily. So once again, we've got a video with the camera mounted inside the car. And I'm pretty sure this was Kieren's first time down to the down to the Vic High Country. For him, he's from the North Coast of New South Wales, up near the Watagans. Now, the key thing to know here is that I met up with Kieren and his family at Buckland Valley, and I've sort of taken them on a bit of a tour. We did some of Buckland Spur
Another little river
and up to
crossing
Mount
coming up.
Selwyn in order to get here. And when I met up with him, he did tell me he did a bit of a drive yesterday, and you know, the question was, should he refuel? And I said, you probably should. We can go back to Paul Punker and you can refuel. And he said he thinks he'll be right. So time will tell. A little bit of flow there in that little river crossing, probably more than I normally see. But then, you know, we've got some pretty steady rain today as well. So it was the opportune time to take the high road through Wonnangatta as well. The low road is usually muddy and boggy enough at the best of times, let alone when you're seeing this kind of rain. Plenty of water sitting around, as you can see as well. So just coming through now to that main open section of the valley where the cemetery is and where the homestead site is as well. set in. Doing my best there to avoid the various potholes and what have you on the track. Approaching here the homestead site.
There's a bit of info on the info board there, but the hut they've constructed here, and yeah, the long drop is just around the corner here.
So yeah, pulled in here, was the opportune place to have a quick bite to eat for lunch. Just stopped at the long drop first for some of Kieren's family members before just pushing on another 100 metres or so down to the hut there, which was a nice dry place to have a bit of a late lunch stop. And fortunately, while we're in the hut eating lunch, the weather did clear a little bit, at least stopped raining, letting us push on with slightly drier conditions. And I nearly managed to completely miss the first crossing.
Our next little river crossing just here.
Following one of the tracks that takes you down to the river campsites rather than through the valley. So the brief from Kieren was he wanted some views and he wanted some river crossings. So we did Buffalo Spur, Buffalo Range Track for the views, which I didn't film because I've done a couple of videos on that relatively recently. So for those that want to see that, you can check those out again. And we've come down to Wonnangatta and Humffray River Track for the river crossings.
It's a really popular campsite just here on the right under these oak trees.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be complaining if I was camping there.
And as you can see, the car's moving and vibrating a fair bit, and yeah, plenty of water sitting around. So it was already sort of late in the afternoon, and
so when we get down here just a little bit, there's two different tracks that we can take through the rest of the valley, known as the high road and the low road. Today, given the conditions and weather and the fact that you want to get back to your campsite at some sort of time, I vote we take the high road where we don't have bog holes and we don't have lots of mud.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
The low road can be a lot of fun, but could be more fun than we need just today.
Yeah, I dare say if it's boggy normally, it's not going to be particularly fun today.
Crossing just here.
more water in this than you would typically see. And this is where we start the high road, or the easy way through Wonnangatta.
I'm just going to drop into low range.
So, never having driven the high road,
yeah, I didn't worry about taking mine out of low range.
I had no real idea what to expect. A little bit of a climb on this first section, so I've elected to drop it into low range just in case that's required. Pro tip, it's probably not, but you don't know what you don't know. and this is definitely the easy way through Wonnangatta for sure. As you can see, the track starts off pretty much two-wheel drive and continues like that the whole way. So you bypass the mud, the bog holes, all of that. It's quite a nice drive. And if you're wanting to go through Wonnangatta and you've been put off in the past by the footage you've seen of the mud and the bog holes and all the rest of that, well, take the high road, as you'll see, guys, and you can avoid all of that. So for those of you that don't want to get mud in your radiators and clogging up your bearings and all the rest of it, in your alternators or starter motors, if they're mounted nice and low, like they are on a 70 series, this is the way to go. It's a nice scenic drive, it's a very easy drive, and will get you from just past the homestead basically out to the eastern end of the Wonnangatta Valley with a lot more ease. Less fun, but more ease, depending on your definition of fun. We didn't have time for fun today, so it was the right time to be doing this. And it'll become relevant a little later, but for context, so Kieren at this time was working away, and he was having to be in Melbourne the next morning at 9 a.m. to catch a flight back to work, and so already now it was sort of 2-3 in the afternoon, something like that. So we really didn't want to have too many delays, and as you'll see as this video unfolds, we don't actually get our wish. But yeah, quite a nice little scenic drive through here. Surprising how it works out. All the times I've been to Wonnangatta, I guess we all tend to sort of drive the routes that we know, and I've always taken the low track because that is the track that I know. That was the first track I drove in Wonnangatta, and consequently it's the one that I have continued to drive in Wonnangatta. But this is definitely an easy option. So yeah, the homestead is about halfway down the valley, and yeah, you cover the other half on this track or the low track. So all up you're looking at about 8 kilometres or so for this section, given the entire track through Wonnangatta Valley is around 16 kilometres long. As you can see, look, we've been able to maintain a pretty good pace, pretty good clip. Definitely didn't need to be in low range. It does let you control the speed in the 70 nicely, and any of these downhill sections you can just sort of let the car go and the engine braking takes care of itself. But yeah, you definitely didn't need to be in low range, that is for sure. Good example there of it's the 70 steering like a bit of a barge. It certainly doesn't have the turning circle of smaller, more nimble vehicles, that's for sure. Quite a twisty little track with a lot of switchbacks, so it definitely keeps you interested and actually driving the track coming this way, so almost as much as the southern or low side track, I should say, not the southern. As I said, very twisty little track through here. Just, yeah, quite a nice drive. A little bit of undulation, but nothing difficult, that's for sure. A little bit of a climb here, but even in these conditions, plenty of traction. It seems every corner you come around, there's another one further ahead, or around each corner there's another corner just waiting for you to take on. So a lot less straight than the lower route, that's for sure. So I think you probably do cover a little bit of extra distance taking this high road, but it's such an easier drive and you can maintain a better pace because the track is definitely in better condition than the low side. That the extra distance really doesn't come into play in terms of how long it actually takes you to get through the Wonnangatta Valley.
That's difficult. Not.
See sections like this, you definitely elevated a fair bit from where the other track is, down that hill some ways, that's for sure. And yeah, we're just about coming to the end of the split section of the track where we rejoin with the low track. So look, I hope it's been helpful seeing this alternative route through Wonnangatta and the easy way through Wonnangatta. And it's certainly something I'll keep in mind for the future. So the low track comes up there just on the left.
So that's where the low track joins, just off to the left there.
And we're back on the main track from here. This is obviously
just the single track from here to the end of the valley, which is not far, and then we're onto the Humffray River Track.
So yeah, this climb can at times be a little bit interesting. But it was just wet enough to add traction without being wet enough to get soft and slippery.
There's going to be a few good little climbs along here.
A little bit lumpy.
impressed with how good those bull trains or whatever they are on yours go.
Yeah, well, Luca, who's been on a number of trips with me since I got this thing, on our January trip, he was like, I'm throwing the rule book out. He goes, you shouldn't be driving what you're driving with those tyres and open diffs.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it comes down to the driver as well. Like, if you pick a line, you can make something look really easy or really hard.
Yeah, that's very true. And you know, knowing the tyres I've got and knowing I've got open diffs and no traction control, I don't go looking for the absolute hardest line.
Sometimes I just get lazy and just try to drive something and don't pick a line at all.
Yeah, well, the patch with good traction control and a rear diff lock was very much just point and shoot, and you drive most things.
Yeah, this thing's not too bad. It's normally point and shoot and you're pretty right.
No, as you're saying, it's got a good LSD in the back.
Yeah, well that's pretty much key. Having the back end mostly like nice and tight, it helps a lot.
Nice view of the river down to the left as we come across here too.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. She's got some water going through her.
Yeah, well, from where we crossed at the other end, it will have picked up a bit more through the valley.
Yeah, that little bit of rain would have put some more in it too.
Yeah, well, it's just a lot of little feeder streams as well. So it'll be interesting to see. The crossing down this end's never that deep, or it hasn't been. So, but it's usually deeper than the other end.
As long as it's not over my headlight, because that's where my pod filter is, and then we might have issues.
Interesting little descent there.
Yeah, nice little wombat hole right in the middle of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And after that section, it's not too far.
Yeah, no, I'd be very surprised if it was up over your headlight. Humffray River's usually deeper than this. But again, I don't think they'll be that deep. I mean, we drove them we drove Humffray River a couple of weeks ago, and they were all pretty low, like they were sort of, you know, halfway up your wheel sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I've just been keeping an eye on when you go through them and watching it, because your headlights and all that, you're about the same height as me, so.
We're just coming up to the crossing now.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the crossing at the eastern end of Wonnangatta, and
Yeah, now she's down pretty low.
typically
I can see it already.
has never really been a deep crossing.
Should make it nice and easy then.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
certainly
real
not
low.
deep today, and it's had a fair bit of gravel put in it, I believe, since I was last here.
This has been re-gravelled.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah, they've changed the line through here completely. Interesting.
it too.
Humffray River Track, crossing one.
Yeah, having just done the Humffray River on the January trip, this is obviously in the opposite direction. I haven't shown a lot of the track in this video because you've just seen the current condition of the Humffray River Track coming the opposite direction in the January video, but it was interesting coming back this way, and the crossing's probably a little deeper today on this trip. This is only a week or so after we finished the January trip.
No, I was just watching you go through. Like the bow wave was just above your bull bar.
Yep. Yeah, part of that's probably the flow because it's flowing decently.
Yeah, I just changed a little bit to your line, just went off to the right a little bit and found a little bit higher ground. Made it noise.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm glad the sun's come out. It's quite a sort of scenic drive along here when the weather's good and the sun's out.
Yeah, well, the plants and everything seem to pop a bit more after you've had a bit of rain and then the sun comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually quite nice. I might get a sore neck from looking around.
Next crossing. This one's to the left, to the exit.
Nice and clear, as it often is, the Humffray River. You can see the bottom there, but yeah, a little bit deeper than when we came through a week or so ago on the January trip, that's for sure. Exit's still in good condition.
Snorkel just yet, or snorkel box set up.
Steep little pinch here for this little stream crossing.
This one's just a steep little pinch.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Barely get your toes wet, but yeah, you want to take it slow.
Yep.
So yeah, on the section with a few decent climbs in the Humffray River Track, and little did I know I was going to be finding the limit of my tyres along here. So as you guys know, did the Humffray River Track in the opposite direction only a week or so before this, and had no issues on the track at that time. This climb here, we're doing okay on this section. Making our way up, but
not surprisingly, another crossing coming up.
Ahead, you will see.
Oh, you kidding me? Nah, it's all good.
Well, you did say you wanted to do a couple of river crossings.
Yeah, I was saying that at the Cape before. I'm like, yeah, I bet Jace picked this one out because I said I wanted to do some river crossings.
And yeah, this is a cracking track for river crossings.
I'm loving it.
That one was deeper.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way.
So amazing how much the depth can change in just a week or so.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is for you there, because that definitely got level with the top of my bull bar.
Now I'll just walk my way in, see how I go.
All right, I'll just wait here in case you need help or something.
No, we're all good.
Pretty pretty ballsy driving a track like this without a snorkel. I didn't realise when Kieren said to me that he wanted to do some river crossings.
So which side is your air filter, the right or the left?
That he didn't actually
right
have a
side.
snorkel.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, just depends which way it's flowing at the crossing as to whether it's going to go up on that side or not, eh?
Yeah, I just went left to your line a little bit. There must have been a couple of ruts there because I was only just come up to like the flat bar part of my bull bar.
Yeah, well, I sort of took the most direct line across, so that would make sense.
Yeah, it looked a lot worse when you went through, and then I just crawled on through and barely came up that far on me.
Yeah, generally to the side, it's not as worn or well worn. At least you got the benefit of seeing me go through, so you know which ones to take care on.
Yeah, well that one was a little bit harder being a black bottom kind of. I couldn't really see the rocks or that, so I just took a guess at it.
Yeah, the next option after this for river crossings on a track would have been to do Crooked River, and I think it's good that we didn't go that way because Crooked River is usually deeper than the Humffray.
Yeah, well, once I get myself a snorkel and get the airbox off Stephen and all that, get that all organised, definitely have to come back again and spend some more time down here.
Yeah, if you take that slower, you should be fine.
Good bit of flow in the river there, as you guys just saw. And of course, another crossing,
Yeah,
not
all good.
too far away.
This one has an interesting exit from memory.
You might remember when we came the other way on this that Dan and I went on the left hand side. It was the far right coming down, but on the left hand side as I'm approaching here.
So last time we drove this, we took the very, very left hand line, but it might be a bit slippery for that today, but I don't know how I'll go getting up the middle. You probably will. I'll have a crack at the middle
so that was
first
a bit
and
off
see how I go.
camber.
Yeah, well that one that we thought would be a bit deep for me, I went up the right hand line of that.
So yeah, just lining it up to go straight up the middle. And we're up.
Well, that'll make it happen.
That'll do it. Yeah, the right pedal comes in handy.
Yep, that's a nice black cloud here for me too.
Yeah, it does let you know when you're using that right pedal.
It definitely does.
So of course, we're still not done with river crossings on the Humffray River.
But yeah, I'm glad we got that one out of the way. That's the only one I was a bit worried about what the exit might be like for me with these tyres, so it's good.
I struggled on that a lot more than you had. Got it.
So yeah, a bit of a shallower crossing there.
Interesting exit on that one too. They've built up the gravel, and the little inlet stream is actually on the exit ramp.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, after that crossing, here we are climbing again. This section's all pretty good, decent traction and not too difficult. As always, watch out for fallen trees. And you can see the sky's cleared up. And that weather's holding off for us, which is really good.
You get to a flat spot here, there's a nice bit of a view off to the left before we start the next climb.
Yep.
It's a good climb, this one.
Another good steep climb here, and if memory serves me correctly,
Yeah,
this is the
looking like
one
it.
where I find the limit of the tyres. So a little bit loose on top. And there it is. Something tells me we're out of traction.
So almost made it.
Yeah, I was kind of like sitting here talking to Kate, and I could hear this like "rrrr" in the background. I looked up. Yep, you put on a bit of a smoke show.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether to come back down and have another go with a bit more momentum or run the winch out.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really see much from here.
Yeah, look, I'll come down and have another crack at it. How far down are you?
I'm just on that first flat spot, the whoopsie, but I can move out of the way if need be.
I'll come down and see if I can get a spot.
Yeah, there's another whoopsie like halfway up, probably about 15 metres behind you.
And this is another one of those times where, you know, sometimes you should just take what you've got. It was so close to the top there, would have been a very short little winch. But I also thought with a bit more commitment and a bit more momentum that I could definitely do this.
Am I just on that now, just about?
Yeah, you're on the whoopsie now.
Yeah, all right, I'll have a go from here and see how I go.
Yep.
Given it's exposed rock, I thought I could get some traction and I could make it. So trying for an alternate line there to get across to the right. But starting from here from a dead start, that's just not going to happen.
You might flatten out a bit if you come back hard left. I know she's starting to go now.
So yeah, started on that left-hand line again, same as before, but didn't really start fast enough and didn't ever really get enough momentum. And consequently, I'm not.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
really.
have to run the winch out, mate. Are you able to come and give me a hand? I just don't trust my handbrake on this hill.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I was just about to ask if you trusted the handbrake and that enough there.
Not a chance.
Alrighty. Did you want me to wait here, or you want me to come up and around you and up to the top and run back down to you?
Look, if you think you can safely get around me, that's cool, yeah.
Yeah, I should be able to just crawl that easy peasy.
So yeah, good example here of the right tyres making a big difference. So as I said earlier, Kieren did his Gen 2 pads running 35-inch tyres and then mud terrains as well. And he's just kind of crawled that, maybe not quite crawled it, but you know, he's had no real traction issues.
Nicely done. You were kicking up a bit.
Yeah, I was trying to back off a little bit coming past you so I didn't flick any rocks at you.
So yeah, Kieren's got his vehicle and his family up to the top there and coming back to run my winch out for me and help me get up this hill. So this is the first time I've ever had to winch on Humffray River Track. I've never had to winch here before, and I put it down wholly and solely.
I should have just stopped where I got to the first time, which was up over this rock step.
Yeah, it's got a full drum on it now.
Sweet.
Might just take a little bit to take up the slack because it is on that snatch strap.
Now, you're probably about to see
Thanks,
a
mate.
really bad example.
I know I'm not as fit as at all. It's like doing this sort of stuff kills me.
I thought I'll just run up to the car and grab that snatch strap and a D-shackle and all that.
So yeah, as you can see there on the screen, this is how not to do a winch recovery. So for, again, long time followers of the channel, you'll know that I've flattened the battery in the Padge
I don't think the car likes the angle it's wanting to stall.
By not keeping the revs up when I'm on the winch. But what you shouldn't do is what I just did then, which is shock load the winch. So in trying to keep the revs up, I've actually driven up but then lost traction because the speed of the vehicle hasn't maintained pace with the winch.
Actually, what I'm going to do...
Have you got a throttle on it?
No, there's an idle up button, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it in neutral and let the winch actually do the work, and that way I can keep the... Because the other problem is that...
Trying to ride the clutch.
Yeah, trying to ride the clutch, and you know, and then it gets traction, and you know, we end up, you know, bouncing on the rope.
Yeah, I found that's the only problem with manual is, like, first gear with the clutch out is too quick for these things that run in.
So yeah, as you just heard there, me chatting to Kieren, I've actually put the car in neutral and just letting the winch do the work, and keeping the revs up to keep the charge going into the battery. The Sherpa winch doesn't seem to drain the battery, or this is perhaps a bigger capacity battery, or the alternator just puts more juice back in than the one in the Padge. At this point, I don't think I'd put the sealed alternator in yet. I can't remember exactly when I did that. I don't think it was done at this point. So still running the stock alternator, and bouncing on the winch line is just something you don't want to be doing. So yes, it's important to keep your revs up and keep the power going
How's the spool bunching?
Keep an eye on your battery voltage, which is why you need a good voltage gauge in your cab, but you definitely don't want to be bouncing and shock loading the winch the way I did.
Okay, good.
I really expected it to all be over one side. But
yeah, well, that's why I was sort of trying to steer a bit to the left initially, just to try and spread it out, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep going.
Yeah, well, you should be able to go straight up from there.
So we're just about there. I just need to get over this last hump. You can see where we've nearly got all the winch rope wound in.
Wheels straight now?
Hey?
Are the wheels straight?
To the left ever so slightly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right there. You can hold there somewhere just on the brakes. I might have to reset it because you only got a few feet of line on.
See how we're going. Is that all? I'll see if I can drive it.
You gonna try to drive it?
Yeah. So close and yet so far.
So yeah, we really only need to winch another couple of feet, but we're going to have to reset the winch too.
What's up?
It's so close and yet so far.
Yeah.
I think we just have to.
That side, both wheels, not open centers, but not on that side.
Yeah.
So yeah, quick reset to the tree that's more directly in front of the car. And yeah, we only need to winch about 3 feet forward, as you can see. Nose of the car coming down. And now we're driving under our own steam, just like that. So we really didn't have to winch too far, but we just run out of winch rope on that first setup. So yeah, really surprising that I found myself winching on the Humffray River Track. I've driven this track many times.
Copy that, thanks.
Including in the rain, and I've never had to winch. really put this down to the tyres and the open diffs here. Padge, of course, had traction control. I wouldn't have normally...
Yeah, I reckon when I've driven this hill in the Padge, the traction control has probably just done its job in that little spot.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't even normally run the rear diff lock in the Padge on this hill.
Yeah, no, I couldn't catch you out. I just, kind of seen what you did. I was like, yeah, momentum.
So yeah, after that little episode, I was certainly doing my best to keep the pace up for the rest of this hill, that's for sure. Didn't want to hold the show up anymore with more winching.
Definitely think though it's a good illustration of where tyres make a good difference.
Yeah, that's it.
It's that extra few percent that they give you that makes the difference.
Yeah, well, that's it, yeah.
So yeah, this section of track, as you can see, we're having no real issues. Nice and steadily just making our way up here. It is still quite a long climb. Some little rock steps here and there and a little bit off camber in sections, but no real issues. Just that one section that was a little bit loose and scrabbly, and of course,
yeah, we're probably halfway along Humffray River, and then we've got to go up Water Spur Track towards Selwyn, and then down the other side of Selwyn. That'll get us back onto the Buckland Valley Road, which will take us back to your campsite.
Ready. These girls had a couple of cops then.
Sorry, say again?
These girls had a couple of cops then going up that hill on the steep part, so I don't know how much fuel it has left, but we'll just have to see, I guess.
yeah.
Oh.
So what Kieren was just saying there.
Well, as long as we get you to Selwyn, it's all downhill from there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds good.
A couple of years ago, I got to the top of Selwyn on my way back from a trip, and the fuel light came on, and it was late on a Sunday, and I had to get all the way from Selwyn back to Wonnangatta before I could get fuel.
So, Angel Gear was your phone?
Yeah, well, I turned the AC off, turned everything off, drove it only 80 kilometres an hour, and managed to nurse it all the way to Wonnangatta.
That's good then.
So yeah, what Kieren was actually saying there was his car was sort of spluttering a little bit on those hill climbs, because obviously when you're climbing up a hill, all the fuel in your tank runs to the back of the tank, and if you're low on fuel, it can be more difficult for the sender to pick up fuel and send it up to the fuel pump and up to the engine where it's required, of course. So he's pretty concerned about his ability to actually get out, and as you'll see, rightly so.
Cracking little campsite at the bottom here if you want to just drive in for a quick look.
So yeah, haven't driven in here on any of the videos for a little while. This is...
It's the Humffray River Shelter, it's called. Used a lot by hunters, so there's a little old, I don't know what it was for originally, but a lot of people put their tents and swags under the shelter in here.
Yeah, nice.
The way it's looking at the moment, she's held up by a bit of wire back to the tree. You're probably fairly brave if you put your tent under there.
Starting to get a bit of a lean to it.
Well, you know what comes after going up a hill and down a hill, don't you?
River crossing.
That'd be the one.
So yeah, just one more, I think, river crossing, maybe a couple. But yeah, Kieren's fuel issue, because he'd done about 160, 170 Ks as it turns out the day before, and he doesn't have a long range tank or any jerrys, and his Padge is petrol, not diesel, so I couldn't even give him any fuel out of my car.
Nice shallow one, this one.
Nice little crossing there on the Humffray.
That's good. Entry on there's a bit of a drop on one side.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, yeah, a few more crossings
yes,
still to
crossing.
go. The Humffray River shoulder is probably about halfway along the Humffray River Track. So,
Steep
this
entrance on
section
the
of
right hand
track's
side on this
about
one.
8 k's long between Water Spur and the Water Spur tracks. Again, some good flow here.
Deep-ish, you might want to
bit
try
of
an
a rocky
alternate
exit.
line.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
And yeah, just taking it slow and steady.
Yeah, we're all good.
And you're just waiting there to make sure that Kieren was getting through okay. I think the big thing is that in the high country you just use a lot more fuel climbing and descending, but particularly climbing hills, than you do touring on more level
Next.
ground that you know you might see up the North Coast there.
So this one we drive in and then turn right.
Oh yeah, I can just see the exit.
Nice easy crossing again.
This is just the very beginning, the very easy part of it.
Just coming up on that section where it tends to be quite rutted. It's another good climb, clay base, can be slippery, and based on what happened on the last hill, I thought there was half a chance here I might end up winching again, so I've suggested that Kieren go in front. Yeah, again, came down this with no issues in the 76. Going up sometimes different, so you can see here the big trenches on the left there that have been backfilled. When we came down, you might remember I sort of hugged that bank on the left hand side, which is the right hand side in the last video coming down, just to be confusing. Today we're going to be taking that right hand line. It just coming from here, it just makes a bit more sense.
Good work.
And yeah, Kieren with his 35-inch bud terrains has had no issue with traction or clearance.
Well, here goes nothing.
Yeah, we're up. I tried to stay in the rut.
Yeah, saw that. All right, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll figure it out on the way and make it up and see what happens.
And you know what they say, that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Which is fairly apt in this case. I definitely should have planned to span these ruts, but again, I've been lulled into a false sense of security, and I think I did try and span them, but slipped in, and I've always had enough clearance.
Yeah, fell in the rut.
Always had enough clearance to drive these. Coming
He's just at the top of the hill at the moment.
coming down, you guys might recall I drove these ruts, but you know, going down, obviously you've got momentum helping you rather than restricting you.
Yeah, no, I'm going to need to winch to get up these ruts.
And yeah, with the 32-inch highway terrains, not enough clearance under them. So once again, Kieren's had the job of coming down the hill. You can see how slippery that is with him working his way down.
Yeah.
Now, if I had have been...
And I mean, look, every bit we get forward, it's winding on, isn't it?
It's just saying that, you know, the winch rope was nearly at full extension. But yeah, there was sort of no helping for that. There was not a closer tree to look into.
I can see the diff drag marks behind.
Dragging your leaf springs and your rear, like both pumpkins.
Yeah. It's doing the job.
That's the only difference. No lift kit will ever help you with this.
No, but
Size, that's why I still straighten my rear diff a little bit, but yeah, it's just tire size.
bigger tyres will help though.
No, I was quite surprised looking at it when I hopped into the ruts. I'm thinking I'm probably going to get halfway up these and just belly out. But
Yeah,
I'm not used to the height of that thing either with the 35s. I'm used to the 33s.
Yeah, well, I had 33s on the Padge, and I could drive this in the ruts, but you know, maybe it's been dug out a bit since then as well.
Yeah. No,
So
vest helps too, because kind of your wheels are your lowest point. Like you don't have
have pumpkins.
Anything, yeah.
There used to be a branch on this tree too that somebody finally cut off. That meant that when you got up here, you had to drop into the ruts.
So yeah, slowly making progress, as you can see, because as you've heard from that discussion, I got both diff pumpkins and both rear spring hangers dragging. Doing a better job here with the throttle control, keeping the charge up to the winch, but
You carved a good track for someone else with a diff.
I bet.
slowly bringing the nose down as we come up over. Again, a little bit there, slack on the winch as we got some traction. We're just still a little bit hung up, as you can tell.
I'll be right to drive this from here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's only this first kind of spot where you got that deeper bit on the left and then on the right.
Yeah, I reckon I'll be right.
Out.
I'm going to span it. I reckon I'll be right.
Yep.
So yeah, if you could lift that up so I can winch her in. How's the spool? All right, here goes.
So yeah, knew full well I didn't want to be falling into those ruts. So gave it some good right boot, and we're up.
Yeah!
I was pretty happy that I didn't end up having to winch again. So, last major obstacle passed before getting to the Water Spur Track. And we're really starting to wonder how much fuel does Kieren have left and how far out is he going to get? Can we get him to the top of the Water Spur Track? Just how far are we going to get him? there. Kieren's pulled over there to let me take the lead.
Getting right.
And starting on the Water Spur Track. So she's a climb from here straight up, pretty much all the way. It's about 7 k's long.
So that is the Humffray River Track. It's a fun track. I love doing it. It's a bit of everything. It's got climbs and descents and river crossings and cracking campsites.
Yeah, it'll definitely be on my list to do again, I reckon.
And Water Spur here, we're pretty much straight into it, but it's not clay.
Yeah, it looks like it's got some rocks to it, so it should be good.
So yeah, definitely keeping the momentum up on these early climbs, and you're getting a sense there perhaps of just how
yeah, no, it's a lot better than the that climb on the Humffray, but this one just keeps going up and up.
Be better if I picked the right gear for it, bud.
That does help.
And I should note as well, guys, that the Humffray River Track, Wonnangatta and the Water Spur Track are all seasonally closed every year. So that's typically from the June long weekend to the end of October, although those dates can vary. So you should check those before heading out to drive these tracks. So yeah, just noting that these are all seasonally closed tracks, and parks do publish that list with dates on their website.
Alrighty, I'm just starting the next hill now. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm behind you.
So every sort of bit that Kieren was getting up this hill was sort of a win, and I was just hoping against hope that we could get him all the way up to the top here, rather than him, running out of fuel on this track because it's so steep that it just would not be ideal. Again, I think in some of these sections you get a little bit of an appreciation of just how steep it actually is. You can hear the car working.
I did say this one goes up, didn't I?
So now you notice there I haven't had a reply from Kieren on the radio. Now his radio range hasn't been great, so I was taking that with a grain of salt. And that was the other thing as well. As well as fuel, Kieren was a little concerned about his clutches.
I'm just on a flat bit. I'm going to wait here till I get a copy from you guys.
Yeah, again, he only told me this sort of after we were underway that his clutch wasn't the greatest either. And I've picked these steep tracks to drive.
Hey guys, well, hasn't this just got interesting? Here we are on the Water Spur Track. Now, this is Kieren's first foray into the high country, and he went for a drive yesterday which was longer than he expected it to be, did 170 odd Ks, and had intended to refuel and didn't. So we've had a solid day today. Buffalo Spur, Wonnangatta, Humffray River, now on the Water Spur on the way up to Selwyn, and he's run out of fuel. About a third of the way up the Water Spur Track. So yeah, here we are. We're going to get fuel, and then we'll come back, but we're going to leave Kieren here in the bush.
Oh, Mrs. is saying now with Bubs.
Okay.
Me and the 2 girls.
All right. We're leaving the youngest member of the family and the mother in the bush. Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. She obviously trusts we're going to come back. So yeah, we're loading up and we're going to go and get some fuel. Might be Poor Punko, might be Bright. Let's see what happens. All right, here we go. So it's like we've left Kieren's wife Kate with the car and the bub, and we told her we'd be 2 to 3 hours, and we've already been 3 hours, but we have fuel now and we're on our way back. So I mean, that's something, right? So it's 7 p.m. Kieren's got to catch a plane in the morning to go back to work, and we're heading into the mountains, and it's been raining again, so that's exciting. And it's going to get dark in the next hour and a half to 2 hours as well. So this is going to be so much fun. My only commitment is I've got an appointment at home at 8:30 in the morning with a plumber. Other than that, this could take all night, but let's hopefully not. So yeah, we're on our way back, and hopefully we can find the car, navigate back there. I'm in 2 minds about whether we're going down Water Spur or not, because if there's been a lot of rain, that could be slippery, and Kieren does not need me sliding down and smashing into his car. He doesn't need that. So coming around via the Humffray River Track may be a better option, but we'll ponder that. Going up the Dingo Creek Track and straight down Water Spur is going to be the quickest route, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So fun times. You know, this is what you do. It's forward driving. We're going back. So yeah, and at one point I turned the car all the way off and just to listen to see if I could hear you coming, and I couldn't hear you coming, and I'm like, yeah, this might be turnaround time. Every now and then, get a little bit close. Brighter. Every now and then I feel tired.
I need you more tonight. I need
At least
you
if
more
I
than
put this
ever.
audio on my YouTube video, I'm not going to get a copyright strike.
No, sounds nothing like the original. Play the video back a bit. I spy with my little eye a Mitsubishi Pajero. Not yet. Oh, where are you? I feel like I did more up this part.
Scarlett would have just been stuck in leather and non-existing titty now. Wallace, skeleton. There wouldn't be any. You know what? We should watch
I can see your lights now.
Oh, very nice.
I walk past.
That's where you park.
Very nice. We'll park somewhere.
Oh, very good, very nice.
We'll park just here in this washout again.
Oh, that's where you park. Oh my, it's mine.
Oh, very good, very nice. Now we play, do we trust the Toyota handbrake?
No.
No, we don't.
So we put it in reverse and we turn the engine off.
Ask the girls how that went one time when we were up at TJ's.
Oh, we don't want to make that.
I was like, parks like that.
All right. We're mobile, yeah? Surely you guys have got a copy at this range.
Yeah, we're mobile.
Good. Well, all we've really got to do is get you to the top of this hill, and it's downhill from there nearly, as you know.
Yeah, we've seen it all before.
So guys, it is 9 o'clock. We've just gotten back to Kieren's Pajero and picked up his wife Kate and Bub.
Good thing about petrol, start right back up for us.
Put 22 odd litres of petrol in his car, and now we're going to try and get him out of here. So the tricky thing is that all the servos in the area shut at 9 p.m, which is now. So poor Punker, we got to about 7 and they shut at 8. So yeah, by the time we've got back here, it's now 9 p.m, and yeah, we've got a ways to go to get them back to their campsite where their caravan is, and then the issue is the servos only open at 5:30 tomorrow morning, so we don't know whether Kieren's got enough petrol to actually, the only 24-hour servo near here, or the closest one, is going to be the BP Roadhouse on the Hume Freeway at Glenrowan, and we just don't know whether with towing the van with the fuel that he's got on board, whether Kieren's going to be able to get there or not. And he's got a flight to catch, he thinks, about 9:30, 9:45 tomorrow morning from Melbourne Airport. So that's a bit of an issue. It does.
Luckily we have white headlights each of us, so it doesn't reflect off it or anything.
Yeah.
So just making our way around Mount Selwyn at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely better without the spotties on. They're just flaring out on that fog.
Yeah, mine aren't too bad. I pointed them down a bit on the way down here.
Oh, there you go. Actually, we're still on the Water Spur Track at that point, so just finishing the Water Spur track off and turning left onto Tea Tree Range, so we've got further to go than I was thinking.
Well, I can hardly see the road.
On the Tea Tree Range track at this point, heading north back towards Mount Selwyn, so we've still got a good 6 to 8 k's to get back to Mount Selwyn, and then another 8 k's or so down the Selwyn Creek Road to get back to the Buckland Valley, and possibly a bit more than that to get back to the camp where
we're through the fog, at least for now,
where the guys were camped.
Okay, so it is now 11:40 p.m. We've gotten obviously out of the Mount Selwyn area, got back to the campsite, picked up the van, aired up, and because Kieren's got a flight to catch tomorrow morning, and they're really unsure on their fuel range towing that van with only the 20 litres that we picked up at Port Punker. We're currently between Port Punker and Myrtleford, and heading to the BP Roadhouse at Glenrowan on the freeway, where hopefully if he can make it there and top up with fuel, and yeah, then find somewhere to crash and still get to Tullamarine Airport tomorrow morning in time for his flight. So he's not going to get a lot of sleep tonight, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm going along with them just to make sure they make it, because obviously if they run out of gas, 20 k's, 30 k's short of the roadhouse, it's not going to take much for me to give him a ride and fill up the 20 litre jerry can again and get him there. Whereas at nearly midnight, if he gets stuck, run out of fuel, he's going to probably struggle to solve that in a timely fashion, and it's really not that much out of my way to go this way, so it's going to be late or early depending how you look at it by the time I get back home as well. Unfortunately, I've got an 8:30 meeting tomorrow morning, so anyway, you get that. So all good. So let's hope that we get as close as we possibly can, or even all the way there. So his fuel gauge and fuel light are now not working, so we don't really know how much fuel he has left. And when it stopped on the Water Spur Track, obviously that's quite a steep track, so the fuel tank may not have been empty. It just maybe the sender couldn't pick up enough fuel because of the angle the vehicle was on. So here on flatter ground, it's roulette, but he might have enough juice to get there. So anyway, I'll let you know how we go. So here we are. It is 1 a.m. and I'm finally on my way home. So I've just left Kieren and his family at the Glenrowan BP Roadhouse on the freeway. I did have to tow him the last 22, 23 kilometres because his fuel ran out again. So I did have to tow him the last little bit to get there. But yeah, it was 12:30 odd by the time we got there, and by the time he refueled and we all grabbed some food because we hadn't had tea, here we are. It's 1 a.m. and I'm on my way home, and I'm going to get home about 2 a.m. And that's just the way. The cookie crumbles. So yeah, it's been a huge day. Good fun though. Kieren hadn't really been to the high country before, so it was a really good fun day out, and again found some limits on the 76 with its current setup, mostly the tyres and lack of clearance. But no, it was a good day. So back to work in 7 hours time. So you got to pay to play. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If this makes it into the video, I have no idea if it will or not, and I'll catch you.
As always guys, thanks for watching, and please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel, we really appreciate the support.